All right, we got several awesome flashlights right here. Like a lot of things in life, they all have their different uses, including the iPhone light right here. I'm gonna break it down into two different categories. One is what you'd want a flashlight for while you travel, which is safety and utility. And then also gonna break down the first one in particular, because that's the primary one. Your iPhone light can serve as your utility light most of the time when you want to light in a pinch. But of course, a flashlight will do a much better job of that, particularly when it comes to safety. So, what's up with safety? How can a flashlight help you become more safe? This is the primary reason right here. Look carefully into the lens. Is a strobe light. So, strobe light is a low impact tactic to deter bums, idiots, etc., for you to do many things, including blind them so they can't follow you while you run. Oftentimes a good choice. The rest of the time, blind them while you sock them with something, or stab them, or whatever else you're prepared to do in a situation like that. The bottom line is it gives you a split second that you might not already have to do something, especially if your girlfriend or wife is walking around and you want to give them something. They're much more inclined to flashlight somebody than to knife somebody, despite all their training. So let's go ahead and break down these different lights real quick. So this is the Wowtech A5. This thing is a beast of a flashlight, 5,000 milliamp, huge battery in here. This thing is not the preferred choice. Good for your bug out bag. It's like a headlamp in a pocket that lasts forever. This is your more traditional lights that you see, many flavors and varieties. All these are very good lights specifically chosen here, but not necessarily the winners. This is the Wowtech A1. This is the best value light you can get. It runs off of a 18650 battery, pretty common when you get into flashlights. And just like, this thing was like 13 bucks with the battery included. It's freaking amazing. But that's not gonna be the winner either. So let's get these back in order. Now it comes in to the two winners right here. And then this is sort of an outlier. It's a headlamp. You can slide it into the headlamp thing. Also a really good flashlight. It runs on good old trusty AA's, which is pretty sweet. So I'll include this one more in the headlamp video, but this one's not the winner either. These two, on the other hand, are the winners right here. So one is called MT10A, which I believe is this guy, okay? And this one is the MT10C. So the only difference here, they got the same powerhouse going on up front and the same features, same way you work them. This one can take a AA battery or what's called a 14570 rechargeable battery. It's basically a smaller version of this. It runs at 3.7 volts as opposed to 1.5 volts on these little guys right here. So that's the big difference there. And this guy runs on a little chubby battery that's pretty awesome. It's got 700 milliamps instead of the 650, so it's just chubbier is all. And it also runs on semi-common CR123A batteries. So this one over here, the A, is going to be like a AA. Remember it that way. Much more flexibility on battery options, but know that the AA is only half as bright as the lithium battery that comes with it. So that's rechargeable. Now, why are these two the winners right here? So the number one thing is safety, I'd say. Again, both of these guys get you your strobe action, and they get your strobe action bright. Okay, that's the number one thing. You can get other lights that can maybe do strobe on call with a push of a button, but not at 920 lumens. Like, that's pretty good for size to brightness ratio. That's a win. So that's attribute number one. It's got to be bright. So this 1000 millilumens, this is getting up there. This is super bright. This one is actually only about 600 lumens. So still very bright, but not as bright as this. And on strobe, sometimes they reduce the brightness when it's for strobe as opposed to other areas like turbo. Number two thing that makes these things good is their accessibility. So for something to work, you got to be able to get to it quickly. So I'll maybe do a couple cut shots here, but they got these nice solid super heavy duty clips. And make sure that I keep one on me, one on my girlfriend. She clips it on the outside of her bag. It stays tight on her two different kinds of purses really well. Actually, she usually takes this one, the MT10C. So again, it stays in place really well wherever it's at. And they also come, both of these, with this same case, which is actually pretty awesome. I use the case and it does what you normally would think it would do. It slides in here, clamps down, goes around. Let's get this in here correctly. Goes in. It's got this so you can quickly and easily get it on a belt loop. Or I usually have an Osprey duffel that I carry over my shoulder, and it clips real nicely off and on in a spot. Maybe I'll cut to as well. It's also got this guy if you want to attach it. So anyways, this is a pretty dang functional little light holder case deal right here. It comes with it for both models. Okay, bottom line, accessibility. You get accessibility. These things are not big as these guys, for example. See the pretty big difference, and definitely not as hefty as this beast right here. So if you know much about punching things, you also know that this size of thing right here makes a pretty good fist pack. So when you punch somebody, you don't break shit in your hand as easily had you not had this in your hand. Also, again, with this guy in comparison, these ones are way more concealable, right? You can kind of just be hanging out, walking with this thing, ready to strobe somebody, and also punch him in the face. So, or as my girlfriend says, give him the good old throat punch. So that's it. I think it covered the main things. They're bright, instant access to strobe. None of these other ones have that ability. So this one here, you can turn on. You have to hold down this, and then it goes to strobe, okay? This one, twice as bright actually, but you have to double click to turbo and double click again to strobe, okay? So this is not dummy proof. You know, these panic moments where you need a strobe, that crazy homeless person's coming at you with a rock in their hand, like happened to me in Santa Monica. Motherfuckers. I would have much rather not used a flashlight on him, but you know, whatever gets the job done, right? I think that's about it. Covered most of the bases there, so I'm not gonna stop my rambling, and I am going to move on to the outside stuff that really matters. All right, so I'm out here on this little Mexican porch at our condo. This iPhone 12 Pro is pretty realistic actually from what you can see on the screen. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on first this red light, which will last 23 hours. Next, this is 1 lumen. It will last 120 hours. 120 hours. This is the M10C. M10C. Next is going to be the low setting. This is pretty super bright. 70 lumens at 5 hours. 5 hours. Next, the mid setting. This is 180 lumens for 2 hours approximately. High, 45 minutes. And turbo, 30 minutes. All right, here we go. Walking down a nice cobblestone street in Mexico. A little dark area. Got the clip on my belt, and then bad guy pops out, and boom, light him up. Switch it up to see what else is out there. Up. So pretty significant range on this guy. So even seeing way down there. That's probably a good 80 yards up there, I'd say. Click it down to 4, 3, 2, 1. Barely visible over here on 1. But as you can see, you can make some definition out of the bushes. And then see something, hold it down for strobe. And we light them up. Go up 2, 3, 4, and 5. On the corner, line it up like daytime. The last thing that's pretty sweet about these ones, this is rarely used, it goes in the safety category. Let's get it out of normal mode. Let's go up, up, and let's hold down the strobe. Let's hold it again, click it again, the double button. You have beacon mode. So imagine a scenario where you're in an earthquake zone, and you're smart enough to have this thing on you. And you're in a pile of rubble, like in this big condo we're in right here. Letting this thing go off for a while could save your life.